to MRC on a Wednesday night, and it's time for the sport tier drivers to have a crack at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix circuit. I know it more as Imola San Marino Grand Prix, but it is the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix these days for whatever reason. It's the last race at this track. We've had CompTIR earlier tonight, Elite and Expert on Monday, and MRCX last Friday. So this is the last race of the racing week before the final race of the season, which will be, I believe, at Qatar, if I'm not mistaken. And then we'll be on to F1 24, which will be very exciting. My name's Chatty Duck. I'll be taking you through the action tonight, and joining me in the commentary box is Stoob, aka Morgan. Good evening, Morgan. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you feeling about the race tonight and about your race before?
Well, my race was very brief, so I haven't really got much to say about that. But I stayed and watched the rest of the CompTIR race, and apart from a few safety cars and a couple of incidents, it was a pretty good race, to be fair. Imola's a really good track once you can get what's the best way to put it? You get like a good feel of the track. It's just one of those that half the time it is literally just going to hope the car grips us as much as you're hoping it will, rather than just trying to force it to be fast.
Yeah, I do find that I quite enjoy racing on this track, even if in real life F1 it doesn't produce great racing. But no, I do enjoy it around here. And
yeah, the Grand Prix of the weekend was a bit of a procession. It was almost as bad as Monaco is probably going to be this weekend.
Oh yeah, God, I actually for the race this weekend just gone, I went to I was at the F1 arcade in London to watch it. It was the first time I'd been there, and yeah, it was a shame that it wasn't the best race, but yeah, Monaco will probably be even worse than that, unfortunately.
Is the F1 arcade worth a trip?
I think so, yeah. I would probably, if I was going to go on a race day, because for the race days it's like a ticketed event, I'd almost be tempted to spend a bit more money to get to be assured like a seat and stuff. Already. Oh God, yeah.
I think that was the Haas of David hit the back of one of the Mercedes. I'm not quite sure which one that is. I think it is Samba.
Oh yeah, he's off to the right hand side, but he's right on the braking zone of the Tamburello chicane there.
That's definitely going to be one for the stewards after this race, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't catch that one at all, unfortunately, but that's not a place you expect to be seeing, well, unless someone's coming out of the pits, and because the pit lane is sort of almost in the way of the racing line if someone is starting a flying lap. But,
it was almost like he just didn't pay attention to coming like actually onto a lap.
Yeah. Unfortunate for David.
I think Perezzo now is going to be our first time on the board.
Yep, he's just coming up to the double left-hander of Rivazza before coming onto the pit straight. Keeps it nice and tidy on the exit of Rivazza, and well, King Stiffy ahead of him has set the time first off, and then Prieto 1:16.268, which is 2 seconds clear of King Stiffy's first time, but still plenty of time left to improve on those. It looks like there's a Ferrari coming round. That's Winky just starting lap.
Winkle's MacGuffin.
Over the line. Who else? Well, we've got Airways in the pits on the intermediates, and as well on the intermediates sat in the pits. That's like Ant's trademark in MRC, I feel, in qualifying.
Yeah, most of the reserves sit there on a set of mediums. So we've got a few. We've got Error Voice in tonight. We've got Wookie, Scottish Ninja, I believe, Airways, Anton. I'm sure there's another one that I've probably missed. Oh, J Sarge.
Now, we do have a interesting championship situation in sports here with only 2 rounds to go. We have got a potentially 3-way battle for the championship. There are 3 drivers that are still alive and can mathematically win the championship. Leading the way is Triz. He's got a 5-point advantage over Mutts Nuts, both of whom are here tonight, which is good. And Sambal, actually, no, not Sambal, that's Adamski. Adamski is in 3rd, and he only really has an outside chance. He's 29 points back at this point. But, you know, not impossible, depending on what happens in these next couple of races. He's put himself P2 on the grid for the time being, so interesting to see what happens with those 3 guys, especially tonight. We'll be keeping an eye on them.
I mean, all of them had a pretty great race house in Spa last time.
Let's have a look. I've got the... So, yeah, actually that race really did close things up quite a bit, because Mutts Nuts took the victory. Adamski was in 2nd, and Triz didn't score any points. So that really closed things up at the front. Triz will be hoping for a bit better this time. Has he set a lap? Yeah, he's in P3.
Triz, yeah. We've got Mutts Nuts as well, just coming out for an outlap.
Yeah, is anyone on a flying lap at the moment, I wonder?
I haven't seen any.
Winky looks like that's a slow lap. Smoggy Ghost, I think, nope, he's coming in.
And so the one starting, I think we've got Sambal, Mutts Nuts, and Ghost Rider all getting ready for a lap.
Okay, well, let's have a look at Sambal in the Mercedes, who's got an outside chance still of taking the championship. Do you want to go on board with him, Morgan, and give us a bit of a flying lap of Imola?
Yeah. Jump on board with Sambal. Here he comes through the Ravazza first left, and onto the pit straight. Ooh, almost invalidated there, but keeping it nice and tidy on exit. DRS open. See how brave he is on the brakes into the first corner. Ooh, nice and late, nearly at the 50-meter board. Bit late on the accelerator, but still keeping it pretty tidy. Car's looking pretty planted through the chicanes. Up there we go to the long left-hander. That catches quite a lot of people out. This is an easy place to invalidate a lap this. Nice and clean. Down the hill for another easy place to run it a bit wide and invalidate. Looking like a good lap let's put together from Sambal. Takes a bit of curb on entry and exit. Gets the power down nice and easy. Go back on to the main straight as we get Mutts Nuts with the fastest lap of 15.9, and Soundball puts it in 7th with a 16.9.
So just a second off the pace that Mutts Nuts set a few seconds before. Looked like a reasonable lap there from Sambal, but Mutts Nuts, who was getting well out of the way there in the Tamburello chicane to make sure he didn't block anybody. But yeah, fastest time of the session so far. The first man into the 1 minute 15s with 8.5 minutes still to go in this session, and a gap to Briezzo of about 0.3 of a second currently.
I mean, that 59 would have done pretty well in the comp tier race quality as well, to be fair. I think that would have still put him in top 3.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I think even in Monday, it wouldn't have been too bad a time, that, in the expert and elite. Certainly wouldn't have been at the back. So we'll just see. I think once again, there's a few drivers that have just finished a lap. Prix is on an out lap. He's got a few corners before he gets to the start-finish line, doing a bit of weaving, coming up to Variante Alta, trying to warm up his soft tyres.
Got 3 tenths to find at least to try and catch Mutt's nuts.
Yeah, certainly a tall order as he now comes through the Rivazza and leaves a bit of margin on the exit, because as you said before, Morgan, it's quite easy to get an invalidation on the outside there with that curb.
Yeah, it was a chance to win the other day. Like, for the qualifying for the real life Grand Prix, they run it so wide on the exit of that final corner. It's like that would have been an invalidation. That one would have been an invalidation.
Yeah, I was watching a bit of the F2 highlights yesterday, and at the I think it's the Variante Alta, the chicane before Rivazza, they cut so much of the first half of that chicane. Like, there's again no way that they would get away with that on this game, but they get a bit of leniency in real life.
Yeah, the game is very strict in some places where if you just run the car slightly wide, it just goes nope. Even there's some tracks where if you go 2 wheels off the track, it'll still invalidate a lap. So
yeah. Priezo slightly improved on his time, not enough at the moment to challenge Mutz for pole, unless he can have a impressive final sector through Rivazza, and that's going to be an invalidation. Yep, straight into the pits.
So easily done.
Yeah, especially when you know you've got to send it to improve.
At least he managed to keep out of the wall though. Lives to try another day.
Yeah, only the one retirement at this point for David, and that was a rather strange incident by the sounds of it. Hopefully everyone else can stick around for the duration. I'm just watching a man who you're not too keen to comment on, Morgan, I understand, because you've got a bit of a track record of cursing him.
My friend Chaos Druid, yeah, I'm not quite sure. He gets it from just every time I jump on board with him, he seems to bin his car, so I think he's just blaming me nowadays.
Yeah, I saw in the chat he was asking you to be kind to him. He didn't affect him that time, though. He's set a time, 1:16.7, puts him in 7th place.
Lucky for him, I'm riding on board with Triz, who's improved by nearly 3 tenths through the middle sector. I think this might be a time for second, I think.
Yeah, it should be if he can keep that 3 tenths advantage. Once again through the Rivazza, not challenging that curb too much and up to the line.
Oh, so close for a pole time there.
Yeah, less than half a tenth of a second, and almost in the 15s. He should have time with 4 minutes to go to get back in the pits and have another go if he wants.
Rendog has retired from the session.
Yeah, and he's retired out on track, which seems a bit odd, but his car has got well out of the way, so it's not going to impede anyone else.
Yeah, Triz getting well out of the way for somebody coming through for a flying lap.
I'm seeing Smoggy in the Red Bull is just coming up to Villeneuve. He hasn't got anyone in his way at the moment, and he is 4 tenths up on his time.
A massive improvement.
Yeah, if he can keep that up for the rest of the lap. He could well be up at the sharp end. And he's just gone through the long left-hander, which I keep forgetting the name of.
I mean, you've already got more corner names than me, and he's just invalidated. He will be kicking himself for that one, because that was on for being a really good lap.
Yeah, unfortunately. Wookie has just gone 7/10 quicker in Sector 1. I mean, he's on a 17.7, and he's also on the hard tyres. He must be a reserve, I'm guessing, to be setting a time on the hards.
Wookie had a bit of a rough race for the comp tier, so trying to make up for a bit of reserving for the sport tier tonight.
Well, he's improved by almost a second after 2 sectors. Off to get him. The top 6.
Muttnut's not feeling completely confident with his times coming out for an outlap.
And he should be able to get round.
Hearts.
Yeah, that's pretty good going. Ghost Rider's on a lap and is just down on his best time after 1 sector, although he's improved at the 2nd sector marker by just over a 10th, almost a 10th and a half. And that's actually going to gain him quite a few positions with the current standings. 10th and a half would get him up to P3 at the moment.
We're back on board with Triz. Oh, he's just invalidated. I was going to say, he didn't pit for fresh tyres. He was on the same set he did his 16 dead on.
And he's just held on to 2nd place. Ghost Rider 16.02. Surprising that Triz went for a 2nd lap, because really in qualifying trim the soft tyres don't give you that much grip beyond 1 flying lap in my experience.
I did find that it was quite hard to actually get up to temperature around here, to be fair, which is quite surprising for how tight and twisty this track is.
Yeah, that is a bit of an odd one. Adamski across the line. I don't know if that was a flying lap. He's got his teammate just behind him, Priezo. Don't know if he's just trying to provide a bit of a tow for his teammate.
Muttnut's currently improving. He's 100th up through Sector 1.
We'll ride on board with him. See what he can do. Triz is not going to be able to set another time. And Priezo a 10th and a half up through the 1st sector as well. I think he is benefiting from a bit of a tow from his McLaren teammate on that lap.
Yeah. Muttnut's 2/10 down through the middle sector, so don't think this is going to be an improvement for him. Whereas Priezo 10th and a half up.
Yep, looks about the same through sector 2 as well. And he's still got his team out. I don't know how much of an advantage that will be around here. I feel like you get more dirty air than slipstream on this track.
I would think so, but I bet he's enjoying it down the straighter bits to actually get a bit. See, that's definitely the bit that would have messed him up there with the dirty air.
Yeah, it looked like it. Oh, Adamski goes quickest. The McLarens have taken a 1-2 with that strategy. I didn't even realise Adamski was going that quickly, but I guess he must have been. And
they pulled off an absolute blinder there together.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before.
The fact they managed to run that closely together is very impressive through a whole lap around here.
Yeah, definitely. Chaos Druid across the line. He's in P6 and 16.0. And we've also got Fixity coming up to the line, but he has not improved. And I think that's it. Ant is out there, but he's obviously reserving, and on the intermediates was just never going to make much of an impression anyway. So we have our grid for the race, and the 2 championship challengers being upstaged a bit by the 2 McLarens in the end.
I'm not gonna lie, that is absolutely sublime qualifying strategy from them. Like you said, I definitely thought that running that close together for an entire lap would give them too much dirty air to make it through some of these corners, but they've made it work.
Yeah, and they were finished up so close together as well, just half a tenth in it between those 2. And then Mutt's also in the 1 minute 15s. And Triz, the championship leader, in fourth from Ghost Rider, Chaos Druid, Wookie, Fix, Sambal, and Spivvy rounding out the top 10, with Smoggy, Rendog, King Stiffy, and Winky. I think those are all of the people who set a time. And from then it's reserves, Era Voice, J Sarge, Scottish Ninja, Airways, David, and Ant starting at the back of the grid.
Well, they all love a good last to first challenge.
They certainly do. And some of them will definitely have the pace to do it. Certainly the likes of Ant and J Sarge, who have both currently and or previously raced in Elite or Tier 1, as it used to be.
Yeah, even I'm still getting used to all the new tier names.
Yeah.
But at least it looks like they've got a nice dry race. It looks nice and sunny for them.
Yeah, not a cloud in the sky on my screen. So they'll be pleased to see that. I think it was Experts here on Monday had a wet race, or a dry to wet race, and they were saying afterwards how difficult it was in those conditions. Very slippery.
It's definitely one of the tracks you kind of expect a wet race.
Yeah, it's true. We have seen a few. But I think was it wet at all earlier?
No, it got a bit cloudy mid-race, I think it was, but no rain.
Yeah. Yeah, same with Elite on Monday. We didn't get any rain in the end. So we're now having a bit of a break before the race actually starts. After quali, we do tend to have a short break between quali and the race, just so the drivers can have a bit of a comfortable break if they want, sort out their strategy for the race. What do you think, Morgan, for strategy? What's the best thing to do around here?
I'd probably just run with the one that everybody did in the real race, medium to hards, pitting around lap 15, I think it is. I think it's pretty much the ideal strategy around here. But
Yeah,
like always, safety cars will play a part, and I think that's usually what makes these the races a bit more interesting, because then you can throw a bit more strategy in the mix. Do you go for the set of softs for a little stint? Do you pit early for hards and try and go for the undercut and then make it to the end? I always think that on races like this, where it's not the easiest to overtake, safety cars are usually the make or break for a good race.
yeah. There's really only the one overtaking spot on this track, which is down into the Tamburello chicane at the end of the DRS straight. And with this track now, the pit straight is quite a bit longer than it used to be. So you can really get a good tow along there. But yeah,
Yeah,
everywhere else is pretty technical.
I think that's why it's so hard to set a car up around here, because you want that straight line speed for the overtaking spot into turn one, but for the rest of the lap, if you've got too low a rear wing, then you're just setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah, certainly. When I raced on Monday, I think I did go more for downforce than straight line speed, which was great, except for the fact that on that pit straight, I was always losing 3 or 4 tenths of a second to some guys behind who were running much lower downforce. And then obviously, if they're in your DRS as well, it's you're losing a lot
Yeah.
of time.
I found it quite a lot recently. People seem to have found a way to run quite skinny rear wings, and you. It's great that some people could do it, but like trying to race against some straight line missiles does make, especially some of the tracks on the calendar, quite difficult to actually put a good race together when all you're doing is fighting people down straights where you're trying to actually make it through a corner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think certainly on Monday it was Reese Whitcomb was running probably the lowest wings out of anybody, and he was just at the end of every straight, you couldn't take your normal sort of braking zone and line just for fear of getting slung shot down the inside, basically.
Yeah, it kind of makes you race a bit more carefully when you know that other people around you are running skinny wings.
Yes. So I'm just going to go back to the standings again just to see. I mean, theoretically, oh, I've been getting this wrong the entire time. Adamski actually is in the championship. It's Adamski in third. Sambau's in fourth. I think I got that wrong earlier. So for Adamski, putting it on pole, that's giving him a great chance of keeping himself alive.
I mean, he's put some good performances in this season, but Adamski always seems to have absolutely terrible luck in a race.
Well, hopefully that's not the case tonight. I mean, he's certainly starting in the best place. And actually, Priezo has he's only done 4 races this season, and he's finished fourth, no worse than fourth in all of them. So he definitely is someone who has got the pace and can do a bit of a job for his teammate as well. Starting alongside him, he can maybe try and hold up the guys behind, give Adamski a bit of a clear run at it.
Yeah, or is it going to be like the McLaren of a few seasons ago where they just battle each other?
Maybe. I think Adamski will be, if they're in a chat together, a party chat, they will be having a few conversations about that, and I'm sure Adamski will be saying, please just let me have it, especially at turn 1. So the formation lap underway now, and we can have a look at the tyres that the drivers have gone for the start of the race. And it's a sea of yellow except for 4 drivers. Smoggy in P10, he's gone for the hards. Iravoice has gone for the softs, as well as the 2 Haas boys at the back, David and Ant, are both on the soft tyres, as well as 3 drivers have been disqualified from the formation lap.
Naughty, naughty. If I was David, I'd let Ant through and just follow him through as he's carving his way through the field.
Yeah. Could learn a thing or two from Ant as well about tyre management. He is a bit of a tyre whisperer, is Ant. He'll be able to get those softs further than anyone else, I'd imagine.
I don't know how he does it, to be fair. It still maintains great pace and manages to look after his tyres.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely got a bit of a gift in that department. But yeah, Ghost Rider, Chaos and Wookie. I don't think Chaos can blame you for that one, Morgan. I don't think you were talking about him at that moment.
Nope, wasn't riding on board with him.
But they will be sat on the grid with very cold tyres, whilst the rest of the grid can do a bit of weaving and generate some temperature.
Well, it's definitely going to be some wheel spin from those 3 coming off the line.
Yeah, and sort of in a position to cause a bit of chaos as well with they're quite near the front, so if they do get bad starts, some of the guys behind them might be coming up on them pretty rapidly, so could be a bit of chaos at the start of this Grand Prix. But we've got the 2 McLaren boys now moving into position on the front row of the grid for the start of this race, and a few more drivers disqualifying themselves with poor parking.
People still can't park. Jesus.
Yeah. We're nearly at the end with this game, guys. Try and get it right by next week. But anyway, here we go. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in Sport Tier is underway. No, it's not. What's going on? The revs are rising. We've got a safety car.
Oh, I guess there's going to be a red flag. This.
Yeah, this is not right. I don't know what happened there, but I don't think I've ever seen that before, actually. The safety car literally coming out straight away.
I think I've been in 1 or 2 lobbies when it's happened. I don't know what's wrong with this game.
Yeah.
It's been out for nearly a year, and it's still almost as buggy as it was when it was released.
And it seems like whenever they fix a problem, they just create a new one. But we hold high hopes for F124. Maybe.
That's what we say every year.
It
And
is.
every year, they still let us down.
Yes. So let's just go into Discord and see what's going on. It looks like with a few of the drivers retiring, that will be a red flag. Yeah, red flag confirmed. So it's going to be a few minutes until we get back to the race with the new lobby having to be set up and the grid sorted out and stuff. So we'll end the stream there for a few minutes and we will come back when we get back to some racing. So yeah, apologies for this, guys, but obviously with a glitched lobby, it's not going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see you guys again in a few minutes.